I quit drawing years ago, even though I spent the majority of my youth obsessed with art. Here's some examples from when I was a kid. I was pretty adventurous and didn't hold myself to this ridiculous standard that somehow I've convinced myself of now. I was never amazing or anything, but I loved it, and I was always willing to learn. So what happened? Life is what happened. Depression, ADHD, we all have our reasons. I lost focus on what's important to me, on what brought me joy. And passion, much like anything, needs to be nurtured to grow. And somewhere along the line, I forgot that. I realized as I was making my last video that it felt really good to create, to work with my hands again. That's been something I've been missing for a long time. I was watching a video by Read the Deer, this guy, I'll put a link somewhere, and one idea really stuck with me. Sometimes the hardest part is simply starting. This kind of sparked a curiosity about my own art and my own creative process, and it ties back into that concept of motivation and how it can feel like pushing a boulder. It causes you to procrastinate, and procrastination feeds back into that apathy. It's a self-fulfilling cycle. It makes for a pretty big boulder to overcome. With this in mind, I'm picking my pen up again. I'm considering doing that 100-day challenge that you see some other artists do, but honestly, that feels like a monumental task, and a wall that I just don't see myself breaking through. So I'm going to take my own advice, and I'm going to break it down into more manageable tasks. I haven't truly practiced in years. I've done little things here and there, but I'm not going to promise myself some major transformation. I'm just going to draw. I think I do have a small goal in mind for this. I'm a model, on and off, and my physical appearance is incredibly important to me. We can have a conversation another time about how the modeling industry can hurt your self-worth and your self-esteem. But for now, my point is that sometimes I won't feel like getting on camera. I'm not just drawing because I miss drawing, even though I do. I'm drawing so I can build myself another way to create, even when being myself on camera feels difficult. I believe this is a small enough task. I can work with that. Before we get there, however, I have to remember how to draw in the first place. I've been trying for a couple of days now and it's been awful. I almost didn't want to make this video because of how bad it's been. But I had to remind myself that this whole project is about my mental health. So, my good enough will have to be good enough. I'm curious if you've ever experienced this yourself. Have you ever had something you loved doing and you just couldn't make yourself do it anymore? And if you found your way back, what helped? Well, it's not great, but I'm satisfied. I was actually going to insert some millennial self-deprecating garbage here, but I realized that it wasn't actually that bad. The real issue I had, obviously, is I'm not a digital artist, really, so learning a new program was difficult. But on top of that, it was mostly anatomy issues, and I remember growing up that I used to do these body studies all the time in art class. So, I decided to do a couple of body studies. We started with a 1 minute, a 2 minute, a 5 minute, and then a 10 minute. And I'll tell you what, you would think that the 1 minute and the 2 minute ones would be hard, but those actually allowed me to really focus on the general shapes of the body. I found more difficulty when I was doing the 5 and especially the 10 minute because I got caught up a little bit in the details and started struggling with deciding what goes where when that wasn't the point. But I will say that the 10-minute one I'm actually pretty proud of. Towards the end I really started kind of getting my groove back, and I found a nice balance of general shapes and detail, and I feel like this one is the one I learned the most when it came to body anatomy and shapes and what I really need to do to make it look like, well, a person. Ultimately, I just need to practice more, and that's what I'm gonna do. It felt really good to work with my hands again. and I have to remind myself that you don't always need to win, you just need to get started. I'm usually a physical media kind of person, or at least I was, but I couldn't figure out a way to get this recorded without my fat head getting in the way. I'll figure that out another time. But for now, these time-lapse recordings on these digital programs feels like a good way to get started. Remember to like and subscribe if you're enjoying my content. I'd like to think of these as little fireside chats. I value authenticity, and I really want these to feel human rather than optimized for an algorithm. If you want to support me directly, I do have a Ko-Fi. You can find the link in the description below. Other than that, take care of yourselves out there, and take care of each other.